Hello, my name is Lincoln. In this presentation, I'm going to show you my research project implementation of strategies to improve the oral skills in 11th grade English as a foreign language students at school. One of the most challenging goals for any English language student is to talk. When learning English, most people learn how to construct phrases correctly by the help of grammar rules and interpreting readings by improving vocabulary. But at the moment of speaking, a high rate of students experience serious difficulties. In many cases, techniques or strategies are not accurate to develop this skill, and lack of motivation appears as one of the main obstacles to achieve good results in this matter. Since English is the principal second language in many countries, teachers have found that students close to get their high school graduation have serious oral communication problems. Talking about the foreign language learning, it is known that getting familiar with it is fundamental to get significant advance, but unfortunately this competence is handicapped by several reasons. Improving the students' speaking skills has several limitations. Among them, the most relevant is the very short amount of English class in school and the lack of encouragement to practice outside the class. In addition to this, the English class is not taught completely in English, and the teacher explains a considerable part of the terms and concepts in his native tongue, restraining the students from thinking in English and making the learning process slower. In recent times, to get the students acquire a good English level has become a challenge for governments and schools. In spite of that, the strategies and techniques used by the system do not let learners achieve good results. On my experience as a student of English at school, institutes, and as a teacher, I have noticed serious difficulties for the students to speak in English, and as a matter of fact, after 11 years of studying a language, the proficiency level is too low in most of students. This study will display a number of strategies to overcome this problematic and get the students improve their speaking skill in English. Literature review. Raba A. 2005 shows that very often teachers concentrate on the theoretical part of teaching English and they neglected the practical part, keeping them unable to use English in real communicative situations. There are some problems to speak in the classroom. Some of them expressed by Tuan and May 2015 are innovation, lack of knowledge, low participation, and mother tongue use. Anyway, it is known that communication in a different language is a long process and the oral skills takes years. And as it was said by Bueno, Madrid, and McLaren 2006, a lot of learners have spent many years studying English language but cannot speak it appropriately and understandably. Rivers, 1981, studied the use of language outside the classroom situation and understood that speaking is used twice as much as reading and writing combined. This shows that most of the time we are interacting orally and it is the first and most common way of communicating with others. According to Brown, 1994, listening and speaking are learners' language tools. This is significant because it tells us that speaking is a natural element normally achieved by being related to others and it could be listed as intrinsic. Lazaraton 2001 stated that communicating effectively in the target language is the main goal for English as a second language learners. What this means is that although learning aspects of the foreign language are also important, it is not very useful to know all the grammar functions and rules, or the parts of the speech among others, if the student is not able to hold a conversation fluently. Senel 2012 investigated the oral communications problem in Turkish schools and assured that teachers didn't practice using English inside and outside the class, which points to clarify the little time of significant or real communications between students at school. This poor interaction with the foreign language creates a lack of confidence, demotivation, and disregard. Brown 2007 expressed that students' motivation and willingness to communicate is affected by teachers' negative discourse regarding students' performance on assignments or tasks. It shows that teachers are commonly focused on obtaining acceptable grades rather than seeing oral mastery in English. Theoretical framework. As it is known, learning or acquiring a language involves four skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. As it is told by ERZ 1996, people who know a language are referred as speakers, meaning that this skill could be considered as the most important one. At the moment of speaking, several negative aspects should be analyzed in students, since the reasons for the low oral competence may vary. Anyway, there are some elements which could be considered as normal due to they are observed frequently. China 2003, which indicated the English as a foreign language learners who want to improve speaking skills need 4 interlocked skills, including listening, vocabulary, pronunciation, and confidence. Conceptual framework. The listening skill is an additional ingredient because it is necessary to understand your interlocutor ideas so that you can respond to him or her in a proper way. From a cognitive point, the speakers must prepare conceptually for what they will say, formulate utterances to express their ideas, and articulate them so that they are comprehensible and to others. Level 1989. Pedagogical strategies, methodologies, and school curricula are usually focused on learning about the language. Targeted especially on grammar, we recognize that it is vital for the correct construction of structures, but the point here is improving the oral production. The focus of teaching speaking, of course, is to improve the oral production of the students. Therefore, language teaching activities in the classroom should aim at maximizing individual language use. Hauschen 1997. It means teachers should help the students relieve their pressure to speak in public by creating more opportunities to talk, making them feel comfortable, motivated to participate in English oral production. Research hypothesis. Emphasizing on learning about the elements and concepts of a foreign language do not necessarily improve their speaking ability. Creating opportunities to conversation practice will strengthen English as a foreign language oral skill. This is the bibliography of my research. Thank you very much and bye-bye.